Good morning, everyone. Excuse my voice. I talked a little much yesterday. The title is Built to Carry the Weight. I'll tell you a little bit about myself first. Born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. I've been in this industry for 32 years. I started at 10, and it's been a great industry. I love it a lot, and hopefully, this topic is something that we all can apply to our personal lives and also to our professionals. It's 2:03 a.m. An ICU ventilator goes dark. The nurse panics. The patient flatlines. The doctor is shouting for help, not from another doctor, not from a nurse, but from a name no one ever sees, an HTM professional. They didn't ask if he was ready. They didn't ask if he was asleep. They didn't care what time it was because when pressure comes, real pressure, it doesn't have permission. See, when pressure comes to our HTM professional, it's not coming and asking us if it can be applied to us. It's just coming. And so we have to take what we do in healthcare and digest that. We have to just say, I'm gonna take care of this, even if we don't know what it is, because we are the ones who carry the weight, the unseen ones. How many of you work in a hospital? Just by show of hands. So you probably walk down the hallway and you'll see pictures up of vice presidents, nurse of the month, employee of the month. Some days you might see a biomed, but I never seen one in any hospital I worked in where they had the pictures of the biomed department lined up along the hospital walls. That's why I always say that we are unseen, but at the same time, I think personally we are definitely unstoppable. And we have to carry that weight because if we don't carry it, nobody else will. Fix equipment. Now that's something that I think a lot of biomed take for granted. You know, we just look at it as we have to fix it. We have uptime to maintain. Just give them a second to get comfortable. Okay, yeah. So in our system, we have uptime. We all take care of the equipment because we have analytics we have to share. And uptime is one of the major analytics that we have in this industry. And that pressure we have, I keep talking about pressure because that's something that I think in this industry we have to handle a lot of times. And that pressure can come to you in numerous ways. I came here one day to remind you that that pressure you're feeling is not a bad thing. It's not a problem. That pressure is proof. It's proof that each and every one of us was built to carry the weight. Now I'm gonna sit here and just give us a little minute of recovery time. I like to call this one, and I'm gonna reflect to you about a technician. He wasn't the team lead. He wasn't somebody that was buried in compliance, KBIs, backlog PMs. But I asked him one day. I said, "Why do you do this work?" He didn't give me the resume answer. He didn't tell me the one he prepared for an interview. He told me just because this is what I'm supposed to be doing. He didn't have a reason, but he said that's what he signed up for. Now, that's how you take away that pressure because we all got to find out what our why is in this industry. And I work in a children's hospital. And sometimes my team always tell me they're having a bad day or they're stressed. So I take them up to the NICU. Now, I don't know if any of you work in a children's hospital, but when you go into the NICU, you can see a baby with 10 IV pumps on. And I tell them that's pressure. That's a bad day. And you look at that mommy's eyes, they're having a bad day. We just having, I guess we can call it a moment. And so once they see that, moving forward, that's what they do. They go walk upstairs and just look around the people that we work. They expect us to have the equipment running effective. And they're not going to say anything as if sometimes we don't even get thank yous, honestly. But they have an expectation for us to fix it. They may not know your name until what? you can't fix it. Then they'll say, don't send Ryan back here. Ryan can't fix a thing. But Ryan did the best he could under the pressure that was put on him. But what they say would pressure them. Purpose to me is a heartbeat. And when I say heartbeat, I'm talking about everything we do have to have a purpose. When we go to work, we have to have a purpose, guys. We can't just go to work to clock in. We have to go to work with a purpose on how I'm going to make this day better than yesterday. Because we have one of the best jobs to me in the world, because our jobs have two things that most jobs don't have. We have purpose and a paycheck. Teachers they have a job, they got purpose. They might not get a good paycheck. Police officers, their job has purpose, but they can use a better paycheck. Our industry gives us both purpose and paycheck. And that's something I think if we really tap into that on a daily basis, then anytime we have any pressure, it will be just as simple as 1, 2, 3, because we have our why. And that's something that we should always carry and always treasure and always put it to a position where it can be utilized. Because in the times that we live in, you don't just have to support healthcare, you have to sustain it, you have to stabilize it. We pretty much hold it all together, honestly. And we're unseen, literally unseen. Most of us are probably in the basements next to the morgue. Nobody coming to the morgue just take a walk. But that's where our office is located, right? I mean, but we do that because we understand our calling. Purpose under the surface. Now, this picture here, I want you to just take a minute and look at it there, because a lot of times on the outside, everything looks fine. But if you look deep down, you see all the things we deal with under the surface. It could be something simple as 3 people called in, but the nurse is not going to want to hear, well, we kind of short staffed, we're going to get to you when we can. We still got to provide that same response time. And it can be extreme pressure if it's the lead text called in, and now you have a BMA1 sitting around there, don't know what to do, but take the call and pray to God they don't ask them any questions. But we have to take the pressure. Machine broke. They write those broke signs on it. Every year, Amy have a competition who can send the worst time. How many of y'all probably picked up a piece of equipment that had broke on it, and you asked the nurse, could you give me a little more information? If I can give you more information, I can do your job. You know, that's the replies you get. And what do we snap back? No, we have to take that pressure and come back to the shop and hopefully figure out what's going on with it. That's under the surface. Nobody sees that. That's something that we just have to take in and digest. Fail mode. We all have a fail mode. I'm gonna read to you. I saw this in the magazine. It was a formula for fail. It said F, failure. The moment everything falls apart, not just the task, you, your confidence, your credibility. A, adjustment, where maturity begins when you stop blaming and start building. Insight, this is where the magic happens, because pain, if you listen to it, becomes your greatest professor. And L, leadership, the final form, not the title, not the corner office, but the person who stands back in the fire with scars, wisdom, and resolve. See, this model here, it's not theoretical. It's not from a book. It's a thought process. It's something that each of us should do. Failing is not bad. If you're learning from it, it's not bad. Like I said, that's become your best professor. That's where you can learn the most from. You can fail, get back up, and adjust. And I read this too one time. Guy said, if he fail, hopefully he fall on his back, because he can see it. If he can see up, he can get up. So that's all we got to look at failure. Look at it as a time and opportunity for us to learn. From the battlefield of a real HTM professional. Who's been on that battlefield before? I mean, how many of us probably sat in our car? Do I want to go in here today? You know, you left work at 2 in the morning, you're back at 6, tired. So you in that car, you probably just pulling out the driveway. And then when you get to the hospital, you got to get your thoughts together and go in there and smile. And the staff might see you coming, but you still got to smile. And that's the battlefield of an HTM professional, because We don't have time to clock in. We don't have time to clock out. I mean, if you're a leader, you pretty much work all the time. And the higher you go, the more responsibility you have. So you best get your staff in position to help you. But that battlefield, I picture, I wasn't picking on the ladies, but I just thought it had a good topic for show what we go through. I mean, I know y'all might not admit it, but how many of y'all cried before you go to work? How many of y'all cried when you left work? I like that, brother. I have to. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I used to hate my job so much, but guess what? What that's gonna do? We always say what complaining gonna do for you? Nothing. But just words you saying. So all I say is when you have those battlefields, you have to just build up the courage. Don't run from the pressure. Don't shrink beneath it. What we should do with that pressure is transform it. See, that's the difference from you just saying I have a job and those who's carrying the weight. Now, for a long time, I thought doing the job was enough. Fix the equipment, close the ticket, make sure I make budget, stay under the radar. But then I met this tech, and for a long time, he was just in the place where he was just quiet. He do his work. He don't post on LinkedIn. He never ever looked for applause. But when he came there, he changed the whole attitude of the shop because what they saw in him was somebody who did their job, wasn't looking for fanfare. He just wanted to come to work and do his job. And to do your job, you have to own the mission. That's why I keep telling people you have doing the job or owning the mission. There's a difference because if it's a job to you, you're really not going to be worried about much, but just whatever they direct you to do. But when you owning this and you make it a mission, it takes legs of its own. Trust me. You look at things so differently when you go to work and you own what you do. Some people used to we give them departments, and you better not go in another. You better not go in respiratory. That's my department. Don't touch my stuff in there. Some people take ownership of parts of the hospital, and they don't want you in there because that's their mission. They want that stuff to be done a certain way. That's not nothing wrong with that either, but you don't own it though. But I'll tell you this though, it gives you that purpose that we all need and desire because in this industry, people really don't know the difference. And it's our job to let them know the difference. It's our job to put into our young technicians, our students, those who are interested in this industry. We have to tell them this is what it's going to take for you to be that great B-man. That's why we're here at the show, all of us. We're not here just to, well, we might be here talking, but we also trying to burn, we want to learn something in the midst too. And I just look at things, I always reflect, and it might be because I have this 1 hour commute now. And I'll just think about things. I'll start off, man, today was, but by the time I get home, I reflect on where I came from and where I could go. And that don't mean me taking over the world. I mean, peacefulness. People don't understand how much peace is valued. Peace of mind is hard to find if you don't apply the things to make it because you can just be running yourself in a circle, like what the thing is on the circle, hamster wheel. There you go, man. You could just do that, but you put purpose in it, you're not gonna have that problem. And I reflect on that all the time. Now, what's the cost of purpose? Everybody talk about, I'm talking about the purpose on it, but what's the cost of it? Time. I mean, that's the only thing in this world we can't get back. I can give you some money, hopefully you pay me back. But if the time y'all putting in this room right now with me, you can't get it back. So that's the cost of purpose, is using your time wisely in what we do in this industry. And that's how we can turn this into something that's engaging, something that's going to help the patient care improve. And I think personally, your way of life will improve. The quieter the applause. I mean, honestly, how many of y'all get applause when you walk into the hospital? I got two hands, two jokesters, of course. I mean, we probably get it mentally, but you can see, I mean, sometimes I get a little envious, man. You go in the hospital and it's nurse week and they on every morning huddle. Oh, nurse week, make sure y'all congratulate the nurses, tell them how much you love them. SPD week. I said biomed week, guys, you see my text, congratulate them. Nothing. They ain't even sitting on the call. They didn't say, oh, great, congrats. Nothing. Throughout the week, I asked my guys, anybody mention to y'all? I sent out an email to them, telling them, man, you see my guys, congratulate. Now, that ain't everybody. I mean, they got some hospitals that truly cherish and appreciate, and they do appreciate us, but I honestly believe that we are unseen. And so they don't really, I guess, know who we are. I mean, not even the hospital, the whole community. It's just, we just not here. And that's a challenge. And that's a hard weight to carry is nobody know who you are, but they expect the world out of you when they do call you. And guess what? We do bring it to them. We give them the best we can. So always keep in mind though, that you're built for this. Everything we do every day is making us stronger. It's like in the first picture, if any of you guys lift weights, you might start off buck 5, but if you do it every day, you'll get stronger, you get stronger. This industry is the same way. It evolves. You can't be the same way you were in 1960 when you started in this industry, right, Ryan? But you have to continue to evolve, guys. I mean, I've been doing it. I always tell technicians, I've been doing this 32 years. But the stuff I worked on 32 years ago is not here. So you can't just stick on how long you've been in this industry. That's not enough. You got to keep evolving. You got to keep educating yourself. Because these young kids are smart. They're going to ask some questions and you better have them answers. Because if you can't give them the answers or help them find the answers, you're not going to be a resource to them. So I encourage any leader, always evolve. And there's nothing wrong with talking to the younger ones. They help me with those Oculus things. I'm still struggling with it, but it's amazing. I'm telling you, it's the future. So if you're not into it, you better get into it. Who can remember when we went from handwriting work orders to electronic system? Anybody that was here for that? Oh, that's bad. That's like 7 people. So, I mean, things are changing, see, and we had to learn how to use computers. I mean, we used to have a computer with the green screen and didn't do much, you know. So you knew about man, just think we had to walk around with manila folders to go work on the equipment. We had patient records like that for our equipment. And we loved it. I mean, we thought when they went to carbon copies, the world has come to the best because you didn't have to write twice. But now we got phones. You just go up to the cell phone, scan, everything's there. But if you're not going to be that technician to want to evolve, guess what? You're going to be left behind. But we built for this. The blueprint to sustain impact. Now, let me read this to you guys. It's a blueprint. I read this and mission alignment check-in. Once a week, 5 minutes. Ask yourself, why did I say yes to this in the first place? And that answer, that's your why. Ask you that self though. Ask you that self once a week. Ask yourself that. Pressure to progress journal. Write down one thing pressure taught you this week. Not what you endured, but what you learned. You see, that's how when pain happens to us, it becomes progress. Because some people get upset, man, why does this keep happening to me? Don't worry about why it's happening to you. Find out what did it do to make you better. I apologize. Glenn Garrett called me. He should be here. But I'm gonna say this: leadership ripple move. Every month, one intentional act to lift someone up. No title is needed for that. No LinkedIn, TikTok followers are needed for that. Just choose impact. How many of y'all do that? Lift the next person up. Just call them and say, man, how you doing? I mean, I try to deal with every single person I meet, honestly, because I want to get that same back. The more you give, the more you get. I believe that with my heart, because everybody want love, you know. In the same way, this industry, we need it, honestly. We do. That's why we all here, because we want to learn more that we can take back to our teams and hopefully penetrate their hearts. Legacy levels. Now, they're reminders that put us in a place where we can have a legacy. And we all don't think about our legacy. We probably have a legacy, but did you really sit down and write it down? Not that you want to find out or brag about the accomplishments you have, but literally think about what your legacy is, because that's something that really displays who you are and how far you can go in this industry. And I'm gonna share a video with you guys, and it's about legacy mode. Now, let me see if I can do it. Now you're here. Legacy mode. Not everybody gets here because legacy mode isn't automatic, it's intentional. It's when you look around and say, this can't end with me. It's when you stop hoarding wisdom like it's retirement savings and start sharing it like it's seeds. Because the next generation doesn't need another untouchable expert. They need you, the real you, the one with the scarred knuckles, the early mistakes, the humble lessons. They need you to teach, to write it down, to mentor, to record it, to give away what cost you something to learn. Let me tell you what legacy mode looks like in real life. Just this week, I got word that two young men I mentored, one from Philadelphia and one from New Orleans, both of them had never even heard of the HTM industry, but they went to school, stayed focused, earned their degrees, and both received job offers on the exact same day. That's not luck, that's legacy. And if that wasn't enough, my own son followed in my footsteps. Same field, same mission, different fire. And just recently, my son was selected by TechNation as one of their 40 under 40. Yes, I'm in legacy mode, but don't get it twisted. I'm also getting to enjoy that legacy. That's legacy mode at its best. Because this isn't just theory for me, this is testimony. Because if your impact dies with you, it wasn't legacy, it was ego. Let me say it this way: if your life is all about you, then your legacy will end with you. But if your life is about others, about lifting, equipping, serving, building, your legacy will echo. Legacy mode says, I'm not just here to perform, I'm here to prepare others to thrive long after I'm gone. And here's the real kicker: legacy mode starts now. You don't need 20 years in the game to lead with purpose. You don't need a fancy title to leave a trail. All you need is the willingness to say, let me make this better for the one coming behind me. A few questions I want to leave you with today. Who's coming behind you? Do they have what you didn't? Do they know what you wish someone would have told you? Do they see someone showing up on purpose? Let me say this as clear as I can. You skipped the line, you got cleared for takeoff, you owned your assignment. And now it's time. Legacy mode. Don't just finish strong, finish with a blueprint in your hand and someone walking behind you. Because what you've built is not just for you. Let me say that one more time. Because what you built, it's not for you, man. It's earned, not given. But when you're in legacy mode, you give it away anyway. Unseen, but unstoppable. I want to share this picture with you guys here. That video always gets it. Those 8 people in this picture, we came out here for this show, but yesterday, Monday, we reached out to a high school in Garland, Texas, and we went and spoke to the kids. Now, in Texas, they start school real early. It was like 7:20. So we had to get up at 5 o'clock, get together, drive out there, and we talked to over 100 kids. I think it was 5 classrooms. And I kid you not, that's like midway. You don't see any frowns on their faces, do you? I mean, that's people from Georgia, California, Pennsylvania, Louisiana, and we just wanted to come talk to these kids, guys, because that's where our legacy would be. And if you literally would have been there, I got a few pictures I want to show you. This young lady here, I'm gonna put her on the spot. Don't shake your head. When I asked her to come, she said, "What am I gonna do, Brian? I don't know what to talk about." And so she sent me this big old script. I said, "Just talk from your heart." And when I tell you she did amazing, that was her talking at the moment. I mean, she just went in and spoke to them, and that's all it takes for us. It don't take no master's degree to pass something on to someone. Look at them babies, man. I'm telling you, I just want y'all to take it in. Man. They not one of them knew what we do, even the teachers. But they were smiling. It was in the beginning they wasn't. And this little kid here on the far end, teacher said, "I don't know what y'all did to him, but he never stands up. He never talks much. He's in the picture." And I don't know if whatever we said, we like maybe we said something that touched him. And then this one here. I mean, shout out to TechNation. They gave us the magazine, and they were smiling. This one here. First they said no, but when they see the other kids smiling, they say, "I want one too." These two were extremely shy, but they wanted to take it, and they took their phones out and took pictures. And if you look in their eyes, I'm telling you, I don't know how it feels to find something out you never ever knew existed, how that might make you feel, to know that there's a field out there that you can get into and it don't require a lot of debt. And that was an eye opener for me. So I like to say that not unseen, but automatic. That's what we do. And even at the shows, guys, I'll go up to someone. This happened in Vegas. This kid was walking by himself. So I picked him up, walked, said, "Man, come on, let's go take a walk." Introduced him to people. The next thing I know, I see him 2, 3 hours later. He walking around with a group. You know, I always try to pride myself. If I could find someone, I take them in. I'll just show them around because y'all don't understand. This is very high pressure walking to that expo alone. You know, I had my friend there, Lakeisha. She came and I walked around because she didn't really know anybody. She came by herself. Also, 40 under 40 winner. Congrats. And so I say that to say, all of us in here are leaders, and that don't have to be because you're a manager. And what we do displays that, and that's how you get yourself built to carry the weight. It's all about how we carry ourselves, honestly. And I just want to share that video, I mean, that pictures with you guys, because if you're not going to reach out to the kids, if you want some type of return on what you do, they're going to give it to you. I promise you, man. I talked to thousands of them, and they all be appreciative when we leave them. I mean, we got there was droopy, but when we left, we was laughing and high fiving. And so if y'all have local, well, you all have schools, I know you do. Reach out to your community, man. Help them. Let them find out about our industry. We can't complain about we don't have no staff or no support, but we're not there getting them. We can't just hope somebody else do our job for us. And that's just me on my level. But all I want to say in conclusion is you're not unseen because you're unimportant. You're unseen because you're excellent, as it says. It's automatic. We do excellence without even trying because that's what we built for. We don't have room for error. We can't say, "Man, I'm gonna give her a little half-hearted day today," because that might be your mom in there on that piece of equipment later on. So if you give a half effort other than excellence, what are you doing? That's why it has to be automatic. And it's not just your voice. It's not a chorus that we do what we do. It's just some things that we have to. And I wrote a book. I didn't write it. Actually, I'll say this. I reached out to 10 HTM professionals. Still waiting on one to get me their story, but that's another story. But I reached out to 10 HTM professionals and I asked them to tell me about your journey. And the reason I did that, because when I talk to these kids, I want them to see, okay, this guy is 20 years in, he's looking successful, but look where he came from. I mean, you had some people sweeping floors. Some people didn't know what it was. They said, "I'm gonna try it out because my professor said I shouldn't." I mean, military is a lot, but the stories I'm telling you in this book is amazing. And I'm sure every single one of y'all have a story just like that. And that's how we become unseen, but at the same time, we're definitely, to me, in my heart of hearts, unstoppable. And from the very start, I talked about how we are built to carry the weight because in healthcare technology management, we walk in the hospitals, we walk in the clinics every day, carrying the weight most people never see. So when I talk about carrying the weight, I ain't talking about, we walk in the hospital, we got tools, but what else we got on our mind? 5 calls, report delayed. What am I gonna tell this nurse? Man, she been screaming about this. I mean, that's weight, and we got to navigate that in our mental mode. So I'm gonna say in conclusion, you are appreciated. We do our job to our best ability, and that's why I say it's going to be excellent because that's automatic. And if you didn't think you was built to carry the weight, hopefully after the day you built to carry the weight. Any questions for me? Thank you.